This
Come on, kid, you can do it. Don't think. Just do it.
is how you do a sequel right. And this
I ain't got a good brain.
I think you've got a fine brain, Jack.
is what's flooding theaters today. We are living in an age of sequels, reboots, and remakes, most of them soulless and forgettable, driven by nostalgia instead of storytelling. But it doesn't have to be that way. Today, we're breaking down the 5 essential steps to making a sequel or remake actually worth watching. Whether you're a filmmaker, a writer, or someone just tired of recycled cinema, this one's for you.
The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so.
First and foremost, we have to understand one thing. A sequel or remake is by definition riding on the coattail of its predecessor. The audience is here to see the extension or retelling of the story, and therefore you can't disrespect the original and expect them to be okay with it.
I mean, duh.
It may seem obvious, but time and time again, we see this basic truth ignored. Take the Star Wars sequels for example. The original had Luke, the galaxy's most optimistic and hopeful hero, a man who saw light in the darkest of places. And here, he's now a jaded hermit who nearly kills his own nephew over a dream. Disrespecting the foundation your story stands on is a guaranteed way to alienate the very fans you're trying to reach. Now compare that to Top Gun Maverick. More than 30 years since the original, and Maverick is still Maverick, the reckless and awesome badass we saw all those years ago. The movie doesn't feel the need to put him down to prop up the new characters, retaining the badassery of the original character while also moving his story along the next logical path is why audiences both old and new can enjoy the movie. This is how you make a proper sequel, paying respect where it's due.
Your kind is headed for extinction.
Maybe so, sir. But not today.
As a sequel made almost 40 years after the first, it's safe to say a huge chunk of the people who watched Top Gun Maverick didn't watch the original. Yet it worked. Because Maverick is a great action movie first and a sequel second. I mean, sure, the emotional beats hit harder if you watch the first movie, but even if you don't know who these characters are to begin with, by the end, you're invested in their stories all the same. Compare this with Finding Dory, which, I'm sorry to say, is a textbook example of a movie that can't stand on its own. Take away the goodwill from Finding Nemo and what are you left with? A paper-thin plot, recycled jokes, characters who were never meant to carry a movie. Sure, it made money, but only because it was riding on the shoulders of one of Pixar's most beloved films. Nostalgia carried the weight the story couldn't. And that's your litmus test. If your story falls apart without the nostalgia attached to the characters, don't make the movie. Try this. Swap out the characters with completely original ones. If the movie suddenly becomes unwatchable, you never had a story to begin with. The fact that the movie is a part of a beloved franchise should only be an added bonus onto an already great story.
Big CGI fight coming up!
One good thing about the passing of time is that we get to benefit from the advancements in technology.
Technology!
And in the world of film, this can make all the difference. Nowadays, indie films have better visual effects than most old blockbuster movies. And if you're working with a massive Hollywood budget, the sky's your limit. This is why, when making a sequel or remake, it's a waste not to utilize these tools to elevate your story. Top Gun Maverick executes this perfectly. While the flight scenes in the original were impressive for its time, Maverick blows it out of the water. The aerial combat, the sound design, the intensity, all cranked up to 11. This, coupled with the 4D movie theater experience, really makes it feel like a fighter pilot.
Could not look or feel more Batman.
However, these advancements can be a double-edged sword, as can be seen in the 2011 movie The Thing, a prequel to the 1982 John Carpenter masterpiece of the same name. The original Thing is a masterclass in practical effects and body horror, and while it bombed at the box office during its original run,
It was not
good old
received
days.
well by critics. Now it's a masterpiece. Is there anything you want to say to those critics?
I just want to spend 5 minutes with each one in a room, a locked room, just the two of us.
It slowly worked its way up from cult classic to bona fide masterpiece. Fast forward 30 years and we have our prequel. Better animatronics, bigger budget. This should have been the chance to bring new life to the legendary creature feature. But the studio panicked. They ditched the animatronics and replaced everything with rushed, bland CGI. The result? Another forgettable run-of-the-mill horror movie. Not because of bad intentions, but because they used the new tools poorly. Which brings us to our next and maybe most important step. If there is one rule that matters above all else, it is this. Understand the original. Not just his plot, not just his characters, but the themes, the tone, the reason why people fell in love with it in the first place. Too many remakes and sequels fail because the creators only have a surface level understanding of the source material. They mimic the looks, reuse the names, but miss the point entirely. Going back to 2011's The Thing, the studio looked at John Carpenter's masterpiece and thought, yeah, let's replace all that brilliant animatronic work with CGI. The original is the pinnacle of practical horror, and the fact that the studio even considered replacing the animatronics with CG is a testament to just how clueless they were. We can actually see this in every failed remake and sequel out there. Pacific Rim Uprising failed because it didn't realize the realism and weight behind the kaijus and Jaegers were what made the first movie so special. They thought people loved the first movie just because of giant robots punching monsters. So they gave us cartwheeling, backflipping Jaegers, destroying any semblance of realism. The Star Wars sequels failed to understand who Luke Skywalker was.
I almost had to think of Luke as another character. Maybe he's Jake Skywalker. He's not my Luke Skywalker.
Destroying the heart and soul of the franchise. Time and time again, we see studios and directors fail to understand what made the original movies so special. You can feel the disconnect and it breaks the magic. So here's the golden rule. If you don't understand the original, you have no business making a remake or sequel.
Weird.
I love these lazy Saturdays.
It's Wednesday, Homer.
And finally, the last step, don't be lazy. Paying homage is one thing, a carbon copy is another. If the only way to remake a movie is to recreate it shot for shot, it doesn't need to be remade. The 1957 film 12 Angry Men is a perfect movie. The pacing, acting, and dialogue is so on point, you could tell me the movie came out yesterday and I'd believe you. This is the movie that doesn't need a remake, ever. There is no way to improve upon it, either by advancements in technology or a better script. Which is why the 1997 remake is completely redundant. While it is a great movie, I mean, come on, look at what it's based on, it still never needed to be made. And this is exactly why I hate the Disney live-action remakes so much. When they're not completely butchering the themes and stories of the classics, they're giving us soulless, shot-for-shot replicas, just with realistic CGI. Let's face it, The Lion King is an abomination and should never have been made. You can't give animals human emotions with realistic faces. You lose all the expression, charm, and heart. And with nothing new to be added to the story, it just becomes an infinitely inferior way of watching the same story. Lazy filmmaking isn't just about remakes either. Look at Captain America Brave New World, a beat-for-beat rehash of The Winter Soldier. The same hostage opening, the same highway ambush, the same Black Widow sidekick, etc, etc. Only it's inferior in every single way. And it's easy to see how this absolute travesty of a movie got made. Let's make our best Captain America movie again, just with the new cap.
Oh yes. Sometimes my genius is... it's almost frightening. Stupidest idea in history.
Just blatant laziness. And honestly, this step is essential for any movie, not just sequels or remakes. When the studio, director, or the actor doesn't care, it most definitely shows in the final product. And audiences aren't dumb, they'll pick up on it, and studios will pay. If not now, then eventually. Finally, to the movie studios and writers out there, following these 5 steps won't guarantee a great movie. I can't promise that. What I can promise is, ignoring a single one will end in disaster, both financially and critically.
Good, got it, great.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, I'd be extremely grateful if you could leave a like and a comment. Every bit of feedback means the world to me. That is it for today, and I'll see you in the next one.